So on behalf of Brand Club Gujarat and in the Brand Fest, I welcome you all on the fifth edition or fifth session of day 2. And we have Jayen Bhai with us and also Vibhuti to moderate the session. Vibhuti, a very good friend of mine. I'll just take few minutes to introduce her to the audience. Ms. Vibhuti Bhatt is the director of One Advertising and Communication. She is one of the country's distinguished professionals in the area of advertising, branding, marketing, research, and communication, strategic and corporate. She is a dedicated, result-oriented advertising professional with over 30 years of industry experience and to do better, do more, and do now philosophy. As director, she spearheads One Advertising and Communication Services Limited, one of the largest advertising agency of the state, with tremendous potential in growing marketplace. Year on year, Vibhuti has delivered flawless marketing and advertising creative outputs to valued clientele by developing analytical strategies, innovative ideation, and timely deliveries. Her professional mantra is very interesting, is know your worth, prove your worth, conquer your goals, and empower other along with way. Very interesting. And I had fortune of working with Vibhuti for few years in my initial careers, and I still, remember those learnings which I had being with her, working on various projects. Welcome, Vibhuti, to this forum.
Thank you so much, Sanjay, for your kind words of introduction. When I hear something like this from someone like you, I really feel very proud and feel that, whatever I have put in my career is worth.
Always. Yeah. Now all yours, Vibhuti.
Okay, yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. And I welcome you to the third edition of Brand Fest organized by Brand Club. So what Brand Club is all about, if we have to, say in one word, it is a right kind of an ecosystem of professionals from advertising, marketing, as well as communication. And I would here like to mention that Sanjay has taken a lot of pain, a lot of efforts, to build this ecosystem. I think when I was having a preliminary discussion with him this time, he said, "Okay, while I was coordinating all this, I almost felt like, chhod dete this time, because it is too much of efforts that is required to make an event like this successful, because you need to get people like Jayen on the board, their time, their availability also is very, very difficult to get. And at the same time, you need the participants. Here, I would like to request people from Gujarat especially, to develop the attitude of knowledge gaining. Because somehow I feel that there has always been less participation from Gujarat for any such initiative. On one side, we keep cribbing that, there are no such initiatives on branding, advertising. This is not a very happening kind of a place. And on the other side, we don't come forward, because I think we live with that attitude of mane badhu avde. But we should come out of that attitude and develop an attitude of knowledge gaining. So thank you very much, Sanjay, for, every time taking so much of efforts and making Brand Fest a really good success and taking it to the next level every time. Today, we have a very, very unique kind of a session where we are going to talk about Amul 2020. So usually brand talk about their success, but why brand like Amul is a legacy brand is only because they have chosen a topic like this where they are saying Amul 2020. So they are not only going to discuss about what has happened in past 20 years, but how they think ahead. And, how they have laid a road ahead for next 20 years for Amul. Recently, I had been to Shimla and Way Forward in Himachal. And I think whenever even I have traveled internationally, there are two brands which make you really feel very proud. One is Amul, because, wherever you go, any nook and corner you go and stay, and your breakfast will definitely have Amul butter. and the other brand is Mr. Narendra Modi, because I think both the brands have very good awareness and very strong perception, and they have made India feel very proud. So we have a privilege of having Mr. Jayen Mehta with us today. Actually, he needs no introduction, but since Sanjay has given this responsibility to me, I would like to complete the formality. Mr. Jayen Mehta is one of the dairy industry's iconic leaders who has been a part of Amul's success story. For the past 3 decades, his strategic marketing genius has taken Amul to the pinnacle of the Indian milk industry for decades, as well as, they have taken brand like Amul internationally to various places. His brand mantra for Amul always has been very simple: making a difference is a priority. Business growth will follow. So he has put in all his efforts to make a difference in lives of farmers, which translated into the exceptional success of what we today see at the marketplace by way of brand Amul. I really feel privileged, sir, to introduce you for the second time, and I thank you, Sanjay, once again for the same. Mr. Jayen Mehta has always been a winner. He is a gold medalist from SP University, Vallabh Vidyanagar. He has retained his quest to be the best throughout his career. Over the years, time and again, the world has stood up and applauded Mr. Mehta's marketing genius. He has been conferred several honors from many reputed agencies like International Advertising Association, Business World, World Marketing Congress, Agency FAQs, Ahmedabad Management Associations, to name few. He is associated with many reputed organizations through various roles. He was the chairman of Gujarat Environmental Services Society, board member of the Global Dairy Trade Events Oversight Board, and lifetime member of Indian Dairy Association, amongst others. Without waiting much of time, I would like to hand over this session to Mr. Mehta, and I cannot resist mentioning one thing, that Amul is not a brand, it's a way of life. We always get up with Amul milk bags in our hand, and our breakfast is incomplete without pestering our breads with Amul butter. Our every meal is enriched by Amul paneer and cheese, and we always see sweet dreams by having desserts made out of Amul condensed milk and having Amul ice cream. So, sir, it is not just a brand, it's a way of life for all of us, and we really feel very, very proud of the brand which you have built over years. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the kind words, Vibhuti ji, and thanks Sanjay ji for inviting me here. Vibhuti ji, आपने इतने products के नाम देके just before lunch you are whipping up our appetite.
Yes.
I'd like to make it short and sweet like a T20, but let me tell you in a very humble manner that the success of Amul, what we see today over the last 76 years, is the credit goes to all our 3.6 million farmers, our entire member unions, their teams, our entire sales and marketing teams, and more importantly, our communication agencies and the consumers who have put in so much of trust and faith in this brand. And it's, what we feel every time we start our day is that it's just a beginning and we have a long haul to go. So with this, I'll make the presentation on the topic 2020, what lies ahead for us, where we are today and where we intend to go. So journey of the last 20 years and laying down the roadmap for the next 20 years is what the theme, and thanks Sanjay ji for having this topic on this. So we need to go back even more than the 20 years, and this is what India was around independence. We were deficit in milk. There were queues for milk. Milk was being rationed. I'm sure the new generation sitting in this hall would not even understand that what is rationing. But this is what the situation was in India in those days. From there to now, India has become the largest producer of milk in the world. Amul Doodh Pita Hai India, and more importantly, the nutrition element of milk for all of us as Indians has actually increased dramatically. And from 100 grams per person per day, today the per capita availability is more than 400 grams per person. So this is what has made a big difference into the overall well-being of Indians as the citizens of this country and consumers of this market. Over the last several decades, the communication technologies have also changed. This is the picture of Peach Village, where the first Indian satellite television experiment happened. And through ISRO, the broadcasting of programs related to our dairy business, our dairy farmers, our milk producers were produced and transmitted and relayed to more than 250, 300 villages in Kerala district way back in 1970s. And from there, today we can see the telecommunication technology has taken a big change. We as Indians have now been a part of the global media thing. And you can see this is a picture of the family watching a 3-decade-old serial during lockdown on a big screen, which is what is a change which has happened over the last several decades. One big change which happened over this last few decades is the advent of internet. And you can see Google, which is about now 24, 25 years old, made a big change in how Indians look at information. The world looks at information, search, maps, technology, and all that stuff. And that is moving great frontiers now. And the latest thing which can overtake everything else what has happened over the last few decades is this. So in this era, we can see that when consumers have evolved, the technology has evolved, the markets have evolved, the brand also made its small efforts in changing as per the changing times. So right from 1946, when Amul was established, to Amul Butter as a brand which came up in mid-60s, the nationwide distribution network to the formation of Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, which is now celebrating 50 years. Amul is 76 years old. We had the Amul umbrella branding, Amul the Taste of India in mid-90s. We launched ice cream in mid-90s, then launched milk nationwide in the first decade of 2000. Started strengthening the international presence, built up the Amul parlors, and then subsequently in the last decade, we focused on nationwide sourcing of milk, passing on the benefits of Amul model to farmers across the country, focus on fresh products. And today, we are among the top the brands in the world, rated as the strongest dairy brand in the world, and the fastest growing dairy brand in the world also. And to do that, we had to keep change with the changing times, as I mentioned. So the product portfolio also expanded with the changing times and tried to create products with the consumers' want and demand and anticipated by the consumers across their lifestyle, the age of the consumers, and so on and so forth. So this is what has been the brand journey of the last decades. And this is a picture, since we are referring to 2020 as a cricketing term, this is a picture which is a landmark picture. As we know, the first ODI India played way back in 1973-74. And then India won the World Cup almost a decade later in 1983. And that changed the perception of Indian cricket and the mindset of the players also. This is a picture, I think, from 1999 when Kumble, Rahul, correct me if I'm wrong, at this 10-wicket haul against Pakistan at Delhi Firozshah Kotla. And this was a time Test cricket was at its peak. Yeah. Then the one-day international magic gave way to T20. And when T20 came, India plays the first T20 by end of December 2006. In 2007, in less than a year of playing its first T20, India won the T20 World Cup. And then in 2008, IPL came, and now we know this new format has changed the way in which the game is being approached by the players, by the fans, and by the world at large. So this is the change in mindset that you need to score fast, you need to play fast, and achieve results in a very, very fast manner. And this is what the mindset we changed as an organization also. And then focused on creating a portfolio of products to see that we are able to capture the growing demand in the market, the growing aspirations and the changing aspirations of consumers in the market, and fill up every single niche so that we don't give space to any competitor to enter any particular segment. And this is what has been the focus. You can see for the last 5 years, we have been launching almost 2 products every month, 215 last 5 years. And even today, we have a pipeline of more than 122 products in our portfolio, which we are trying to work on, incubate, and launch subsequently in the coming months and years ahead. And I'll share about some of the perspectives of the focus on which the pillars on which we want to create the business in the coming decade or so. But here, as Vibhuti rightly mentioned, there is a product for everyone in the family, for every part of the day. And I'm also happy to say in the latest survey of almost 20,000 customers by Market Excel, which was released just day before yesterday, Amul has been ranked as the #1 urban brand, #3 rural brand. And so overall, the #1 brand in overall across categories in the country, and of course, the #1 food brand and FMCG brand also. So this is the trust and the confidence which our consumers have in the brand, and the efforts of this organization to meet the changing aspirations of the customers. Some numbers I'll put before you. This is 10 billion liters of milk that Amul handles in a year. So this makes us the 8th largest dairy company in the world. We handle more than 30 million liters or 3 crore liters of milk every day. And that is processed by our 98 dairy plants and marketed across the country through a network of 82 sales offices, 10,000 distributors, and so on. This is the turnover which Amul brand will achieve in this year, which is ending on 31st March 23. This is about $9 billion US, which is close to 72,000 crore rupees, a growth of 20% over the previous year, a CAGR of more than 15-16% over the last 8-10 years. So this is the rate at which the brand is growing. The demand of the products is being met through the, as I mentioned, about the volume of milk that we handle from the number of producers that we have. And this makes us the largest FMCG also in the country, overtaking the #2 by a very, very long distance. And this is actually where our consumers come in. We pack 20 billion packs of Amul products every year, which means every single liter of Taza, Shakti, Gold milk, the butter, the cheese, the ghee, the shrikhans, the gulab jamuns, the chocolates, the ice creams, and so on. So in a year, this brand has 20 billion transactions. This is perhaps the largest in the world. Independent surveys also have rated Amul amongst the most transacted brand globally. But this I can tell you because we have the actual count of number of packs that we do every day, every month, every year. And this is the 20 billion transactions which we have. And this is where is actually the challenge for the brand to see that every experience every consumer has to be the best and meeting overall the objectives and the values of the organization. So now, having had a look at the past, we need to know, and as I mentioned earlier, every day when we come to office, we realize it's a new day and a new beginning we need to make. We are fortunate to be in a country which has the fastest growing GDP in the world. And these are the latest numbers. We overtook the COVID shock. During COVID also, India did not fall as much because we have a strong agriculture. The dairy industry continued to work around the clock, 365 days during the COVID, as we all know. And as a result of which, Indian economy is growing from strength to strength. And if we are in a wanting to have this goal of achieving the 5 trillion mark, dairy industry also has to keep up pace with that. And I'm sure many of you would not know that milk is India's largest agricultural crop. So milk value, the output of throughput value of milk is more than wheat, paddy, oilseeds put together. So this is where, and it contributes very significantly to overall GDP and overall agriculture also. So this is where our millions of milk producers across the country are contributing to the strength of the economy. And you can see the economy with 1.4 billion people, India is now the largest and the most populous nation in the world. The per capita incomes have a great opportunity to grow. We have a great retail sector. We have a large number of retail outlets, and that's where the market opportunity lies for everybody to service. And more importantly, I would like to point out that the dairy farmer, the woman milk producer who works 24/7, 365 days to produce such a large value of milk, which is more than 10 lakh crore rupees worth, that is still not considered as a part of an organized workforce. So as the economy strengthens and the worth of the women milk producers particularly is recognized. You can see the kind of employment opportunities this sector has, and it will contribute to the formal economy of the country. And I'll share some numbers about how this is going to happen in the years to come. The strength of Indian economy also lies on the large number of Indian middle class. And you can see several different statistics have shared that we have a large and growing number of not only the top consuming society, but also the aspiring middle class, and the bottom of the pyramid also continues to be very strong. So while we have a huge market available for all of us, there is also enough number of hands to produce the agricultural products and the raw material that we need for our livelihood. And that's where the large population which lies in villages, but it's an aspiring class, will contribute greatly to building the strength of our Indian economy. And then when we talk about consumption of the products, the brand has to be acceptable to all generations. And this is a screenshot of one of our latest films, Amul Taste of India. You can see 4 generations in one picture. And this is where the brand always has to see that it is aspirational to not only the older generation, but the next generation and the coming generation also needs to aspire for this brand. And we need to make the brand very, very contemporary for them. And I'll talk about what we are going to do for this generation as much. But more importantly, as I mentioned, Amul is owned by 3.6 million farmers. And these are the, two pillars, the producers and the consumers on which this brand exists. So value for many as far as the producers is concerned, because we deal with more than 3.6 million farmer families across the country, and value for money, because every customer has to believe that Amul is their brand. They get the best quality product at the most affordable prices. And this is what will make the brand grow in times to come. But this brand can succeed only, and as you know, we are a cooperative, and cooperatives and the Amul model of cooperatives have grown because of 2 basic important things: the farmer leadership and the professional management. And if we have a good combination of both these things across every single village, across every single district, across every single state, the country has to grow at a very, very rapid rate. And you can see the leadership, national leadership also, who has come out of Gujarat. They have been experts and aware about the strengths of the cooperatives, and several changes that have been made at the policy level also reinforce the fact that now we have the alignment of the policy with the formation of a new Ministry of Cooperation, a separate Ministry of Animal Husbandry and Dairying for this sector, a slew of measures announced in the budget which support and promote the cooperative sector. And this is what is going to make a big difference to India and all of us in the times to come. And for the brand to succeed, a market share also is very, very important. So Amul has been dominating every single dairy product category as a leader in this country. And we want to ensure this, but this can happen only when the brand continues to remain affordable and available to a large number of people. So here, the market share is a very, very responsible market share. And I can share some numbers. See, if Amul has more than 80-85% share of the butter market, the price of the butter still is not as high, which can command and this domination of the market, and any premium you want, you can achieve by that. We still know that only 1 out of 4 Indians today is consuming butter. So 3/4 of Indians today are still not consuming butter. So as the economy grows, as the purchasing power of our Indians consumers increase, we know that there is a huge market which exists there. And on the other hand, we also know that there is a huge number of producers wanting to get involved in this cooperative movement, and the milk production has to grow. So if we balance the demand on one side and ensure the supply on the other side, it will see that there is a great, there will be a continued and a sustained business opportunity for the producers, because the market is existing, and for the market because the producers are encouraged to produce. And this is what is our approach to dominating the market, with a very, very responsible pricing strategy, so that we are able to do that. And in order to see that we are able to keep pace with changing time, technology is very important. We have been fortunate to be using the best possible dairy technologies in the world for every single product and process that we have. And we continue to leverage this to see that we are able to do the best value addition at a very, very affordable price by minimizing the losses, using the best possible technology, and building the country's dairy market, which also almost only 1/4 is organized. So 3/4 of the milk is waiting to come to the organized sector, and the best processing technologies and tools that we use will also help in strengthening and growing this market. And about pricing, I mentioned the value for money pricing. So the best quality product, but not necessarily at the highest price, which means the consumer gets the best satisfaction and joy of consuming a world-class product, but not paying an unaffordable price for it. And that will help grow the market, strengthen the equity of the brand, and also ensure a great promise for the future for increasing the consumption as by the consumers is concerned, and increasing the production and supplies as far as the marketeers are concerned. And to do this well, to connect the producer with the consumer, you need to be digitally savvy, digitally integrated. So I'm very happy to say that each of the 3.6 million transactions that we do at 18,600 villages of Gujarat every morning and evening, which is twice a day, is recorded on a common software. To every single pack of Amul butter that we sell in the market, to more than 1 million outlets, is on a common software. So here you are able to seamlessly connect the producer with the consumer, understand what are the changing trends in the market, and you take it back on the other side, increase in production, and you take it back on the market side. And that's how we've been able to very, very tightly manage the entire supply chain, and every member of the supply chain would be able to understand what's happening on the other side, and each of them focus on using these numbers and the big data to either reduce the cost and improve the efficiency, so that both the producers and consumers benefit out of this entire thing. Next. And this requires very efficient supply chain. So what we call our distribution supply chain is a distribution highway. It is an analogy of an highway in which more traffic as it flows on the highway, the cost of transaction comes down. And since we have a range of products which are frozen at -20°C, which is ice creams and the pizzas and the paneers, then the chilled, which is the butter and the cheese and the chocolates at room at 0 to 4°C, ambient products at room temperature, and fresh products which directly move from the plant to the market. This is efficiently managed right from 3.6 million farmers, 18,600 villages, 98 dairy plants, 82 sales offices, more than 15,000 distributors, and 1 million retail outlets which are directly serviced. No other company in the country has such a very strong supply chain network to take the products across the country at a very, very affordable price, keeping entire supply chain partners also happy because they get very, very high volumes as a return of their efforts into partnering with the brand. And this is the most important part. Irrespective of the best efficiencies that you have in manufacturing, which anybody can acquire, the best distribution network you can build and money can buy that. All what you cannot buy with money is the positioning of the brand in the minds of the consumers. Now, this requires very, very consistent efforts. And the Amul brand, as we know, and I'm happy that Rahul Dekuna has also joined here today, the efforts of the agency in positioning the brand, the utterly butterly delicious brand. This is the first advertising campaign way back in 1965. We are talking to consumers today in 2023. The passion, the consistency, and the salience with which they have been able to do this actually has made this brand a very, very strong brand. And all the things that we do related to not just the branding of Amul butter, but each of the products that we do has that stamp of consistency, of adapting to the changing times, but still and staying relevant to each of the set of customers that we have, so that the richest man of India to the most aspiring person of India, everybody thinks Amul is a brand he or she owns, it belongs to them, and this is what the trust of the brand which takes us forward. But then the communication has the most challenging role to play in this entire thing because of the changing base of customers. We can call our customers the millennials or the Gen Z and so on and so forth. But each generation, each new consumer brings about a challenge of its own for the marketeers. I'm sure many people sitting here involved in marketing of the products, to being consumers of the different products that we do, we know that what each all typicalities come into selling and positioning of the brands. And this is where the challenge for a brand, which has to be very, very aspirational, is even more challenging. And this is the role we have to do day in and day out to ensure that every single set of customers, every new generation of customers which comes and adopts this brand has to accept and adopt this brand as seamlessly as the previous generations. And to do that, the social media has been one of the most powerful tools. Amul has been among the first 5 companies in India to establish a .com presence way back in 1994-95. Ever since then, we have been keeping pace with the changing times and technologies. And once social media came in, we have been also very fast movers on the social media space. But today, I think Amul is the only brand in India to have a social media presence in 11 different languages. We talk to consumers in their mother tongue across the country. And this is where it helps us be a part of the conversations. And we listen to all these conversations and try to figure out what works well, how to do, and how to sell and position and promote each of the 1,000 odd SKUs that we have in our portfolio in every single part of the country, in every single mother tongue of the country. Having said that, in the next few minutes, I'll end the session by talking about that if we have built a $9-10 billion business, what are the new pillars we identify to add $1 billion each for each of the pillars in the times to come. And looking at some of the opportunities that we see and what we are working on, the number one opportunity that we see is the power of protein. As we know, as for our nutrition and well-being, we need to consume a certain quantity of protein every day. The benchmark or a rule of thumb is 1 gram per kg of body weight. So Sanjay ji, if your body weight is say 75 kgs, you need to consume 75 grams of protein every day. Now, this can come in form of milk or paneer or pulses that you consume or any of the non-veg items or eggs that you consume. But fact remains that Indians are not as efficient in understanding and evaluating their protein requirements, as a result of which it is affecting our well-being. But you realize that during COVID, one of the biggest searches which happened was on protein. And we realized that Amul, as the largest dairy player in the country, if we are able to leverage our strengths of having the large quantity of protein which comes out of cheese whey and the kind of volumes of cheese and paneer that we make every day, we have got 3 million liters of protein every day. And from that, we have now converted into a variety of protein products which are a part of your daily consumption, but still give you the quantity of protein that you require at an affordable and a delicious manner. And this is what our recent launches of protein lassi and buttermilk. And we have a range of other protein products also coming up, like the protein bar, the protein shakes, the protein yogurts, the protein ice creams, the protein cookies, protein water, and so on and so forth. So everything that you consume in our day-to-day lives would be in a form of a ratio or a perfect percentage of protein that we consume, and this will help us build this market. Let me tell you, the gym protein, the whey protein supplements, India imports almost 15,000 crore rupees every year. So to get $1 billion business out of this, using the raw material that we have in hand and the consumer base that we have in hand will not be difficult. Our experiment with the protein lassi and buttermilk has been very good, and you will see the more and more of these products coming up in a big way. COVID also helped us focus on immunity, and we realized that immunity is one thing which we need to build on continuously to remain free from diseases, or if we are affected by any of these viruses and any of the diseases, we should be in a position to recover very fast. And this is where is the next big opportunity that we have. Milk and milk products are natural immunity givers, and this is what the opportunity we took during COVID to launch a range of immunity boosting products, and that has given us a very good opportunity of emphasizing the importance of milk and the natural ingredients in boosting our immunity. Another trend across the country is moving away from sugar, and we have a range of products in the sugar-free category, be it the chocolates or the pedas or the butter cookies or the gulab jamuns, ice creams, and so on and so forth. So these are the opportunities that we see in also building the market of categories of products which today's consumer is very, very conscious of. Everybody looks at the ingredients very carefully, the percentage of sugar on the label, and we as a brand also need to be aware and conscious about it and cater to the requirements of those set of customers. The another thing which people look at is also less number of processing, less number of ingredients on the label, which is called a clean label movement. And you can see the natural cheeses range that we are soon launching, and it's available in the market, be it Gouda, Edam, Cheddar, Feta, Kalari, and so on and so forth. These are our attempts to bring out products of real ingredients and real offerings, Now, Amul ice cream is made with pure milk and no vegetable fat and is added to it. Butter cookies made with the goodness of real butter. Butter bread also made with bread and not vegetable oil. So consumers are sensitive about all these things, and this is a niche and opportunity for us to grow this market. Another space is what we're working on in a very, very big way is to cater to the demand for organics. Every consumer wants to consume food which is free from pesticides, free from chemical fertilizers, and so on. Now, unfortunately, the situation on the ground is very, very different. There's been a very, very heavy use of pesticides and chemical fertilizers across the country. And the government is also now very aware of making this change. And we have also got into this space by launch of a variety of organic products, be it the atta or the dal and the rice and the several sets of pulses like moongs and so on and so forth. And in a matter of next few months, we will be having this entire range of products that we consume in our kitchen, be it a sugar or a jaggery or a rajma or any single item that we have, will be organic. We are a part of the national movement by setting up a new multi-state cooperative which focuses on organics, and we will work with certified organic farmers. We already set up certified organic labs for certification of the product, and we will work on building up this movement. And the important part of Amul getting into this space is that the premium which organic brands charge today, while everybody wants to consume and some of the products are also available, the premium is almost 2x the price of a regular product. Here, we will try to democratize the organic market, make good quality organic products, certified organic products available at an affordable price to the consumers, as a result of which build the market of this set of products and make the producers support the consumers in a very, very big way. And all of us together will support the environment and our ecology in a great manner. Then food also is excitement. Everybody has the love for exotics when we consume food and different items that we have. One of the great strengths that we have is to leverage our products and make them the use of the best single ingredient sources, be it a camel milk or a native buffalo milk, or the chocolates that we launch were single origin coffee, single origin chocolates, cocoa beans from different parts of the world. The honey that we have is a monofloral honey, which means the honeybees have suck the honey nectar from specific mustard seeds or ajwain or different kind of crops that occur during different times of the year. And that's what we are going to do. We also have the buffalo milks and we also have the cow milk. This is where is the new opportunity for tapping the changing requirements of the customer. And that's also helping us add value to whatever products the consumer wants. And that makes this entire business also grow in a very big way. Another big change which is happening to boost the immunity, and which is what we realized during COVID, was the importance of probiotics. Now, probiotics are basically good bacteria. Everybody in the country knows antibiotic. But probiotics are good bacteria which reside in our intestines and help digest the food that we have and fight all the bad ones also. So in every body, there are 10 raised to 14 kind of number of bacteria that we have. And to be calling a product as a probiotic, and yogurt and curd and chas and lassi are very, very best forms of serving of probiotics. This is where the opportunity that we have been able to see. We have been having in the market a range of probiotic products like probiotic lassi, buttermilk. I'm sure you are familiar with all this, probiotic ice creams and so on. But now a big change that we have made is converting the chas, the Amul buttermilk pouch, available at a price range of 10, 15, 20, 30 rupees, almost say 30 rupees a liter. And we sell close to 25, 30 lakh liters a day. We have converted this buttermilk into probiotic buttermilk. So if you've heard of Yakult or some similar probiotic brands, and you know the price of that, almost at 1/10 of such price, you will get the same quality product, a better product with no sugar, available at a doorstep, along with the milk vendor who gives you milk. And that is our attempt and our effort to improve the well-being of the society nationwide by making our best cultured product available in a probiotic form across the country. And this is a big game changer, because this will help boost the immunity of the country, the health of the country in a very, very significant manner. Another big opportunity that we sense is the mithais. During COVID, we realized that people wanted trusted brands and products. People were not trusting on loose, unbranded, unpackaged items, and which includes milk also, which includes dahi also, which includes paneer also, and which includes mithai also. And this is where the goodness of Amul ingredients come in. And we have launched a range of mithai in serving to the requirements of customer, made freshly available and made fresh at multiple of our plants across the country. And this is where we sense another good opportunity to build a strong business portfolio, but providing with the best quality ingredients and the tastiest products across the length and breadth of the country. And each of the 90 dairy plants that we have will soon manufacture one or different type of mithais, which will be sold locally in fresh forms so that it caters to the changing requirements and the needs of the customers. And then food is also about excitement, unexpected combination. One of the very unique products that we launched last year was a seltzer. So it is made with the goodness of dairy, with the right with real fruit and the fish. So our cola does not have phosphoric acid. Our cola does not have caffeine, but it has the same taste and goodness of a cola. So this is where we are working on trying to build on the market and tap on the space in the carbonated space also, which is the largest beverage space in the country. Then comes the rise of direct-to-consumer channels. Amul was among the first few Indian companies to set up our own cyber store way back in 98-99. And since then, the times have changed, the payment modalities have changed, the infrastructure to deliver across the length and breadth of the countries has changed. And today, we transact our large number of commodities on Amul Dairy Trade app. Our retailers order on Amul Cart, which is a B2B app. Consumers can see where Amul products is available on a Locate Amul app within 5 kilometers radius of wherever you are. But now we have put up another new site, which is called shop.amul.com, in which you can buy the range of Amul products directly from the Amul plants or the Amul branches. And this is what is a great opportunity that we see. We will set up almost 400 warehouses across the country, because we already have 80 branches of having 80 warehouses of ambient warehouses, 80 chilled warehouses, 80 frozen warehouses, and 100 dairy warehouses. And this is where service every single customer across the country, even in an online mode through a shop.amul channel. And then food is also about experiences. This is a picture of our first Amul Ice Lounge, which sells only international flavors of ice cream. We have put this, we launched this lounge in Pune a couple of weeks back, and we are going to set up 100 such premium lounges across the country, in which people can savor the best Amul ice creams with unique flavors of around the world into this kind of an offering. And once we talk about technology, and once we talk about the changing spaces of where consumers interact, this is an image of an Amulverse, Amul space in Metaverse, which is being under construction. And we will be launching it very, very soon. So this is the new frontier of communication technology and media that we want to experience, experiment, and connect with the customers in a very, very big way. And finally, if the brand, what happens next? So the brand is strong in India. We are exporting to more than 50 countries around the world. And this is where the opportunity for us is to also build the market across the world. In the next 10 years, India will produce close to 33% of the world milk, which is currently about 22% of the world milk. So in this case, it is not just the brand which will grow global, it is the model which will also go abroad. The Amul model is connecting the producers with the consumers through these cooperatives that we have. And this is a model which is very, very relevant to every single developing country in the world. So we are talking to several countries who are interested in replication of this model for the benefit of their farmers. And as it provides rural employment to people in rural areas, it's a great tool for women empowerment. It's a great tool for providing stable, sustainable nutrition and livelihood to a large number of people. And this is so the brand tomorrow, it is not just the brand which will go global, but the Amul model will also go global. And this will benefit like it has benefited the milk producers across India, it will also benefit milk producers and consumers in the developing countries around the world. And which will, as India's largest producer of milk in the world, it's also a responsibility to see that we share our experiences, our success stories, and replicate the same in different parts of the world. And that's the direction we are moving on. And in India also, the White Revolution 2 is underway. During the White Revolution 1, between 1970 to 1996 until today, in the last 50 years, out of 7 lakh villages in India, there are dairy cooperatives in 2 lakh villages. And the government, the new Ministry of Cooperation has given a mandate to all to set up another 200,000, which is 2 lakh cooperatives in the next 5 years. So more and more farmers across the country will get benefits of cooperatives in the shortest possible time. More and more milk will flow through the organized sector, through these cooperatives and through brands like Amul, which will make India and the Indian White Revolution a great success story, and even bigger success story with almost 2x growth in the shortest possible time. And this is the great opportunity that we see for the producers of our country, and also for all of us to build the market for the milk that we have. So to end, I would like to summarize by a very, very humble statement. That we talked about milk, how it has made a difference to the life of millions of our farmers and to the country as a whole. But at Amul, our currency is not milk. It is trust. Because the brand exists because of the trust of the millions of the producers that it has and 1 billion consumers that we have. And this is what is our effort day in and day out, to reinforce the trust in the brand for the producers, by the consumers. And this is what will make the brand relevant and continue to have its impact, not just on the society, but also on the economy and the country as a whole. Thank you so much for this opportunity for sharing my views and perspectives, what happens in the next couple of decades. And I look forward to, if you have any questions, I'll be very, very happy to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really a very enlightening session, how you are going to make Amul as a brand from taste of India to taste of world. And, through the pillars that you are going to build this brand or take this brand forward for next 20 years, it shows the amount of clarity that the leadership has as to how they are going to take brand forward. And as you rightly said, I think the trick has been in balancing the value chain, on both the sides, the producers and the consumers. And the way you have made the brand, so contextual all the time. And at the same time, you have made sure that the values of the brand, which are the traditions of the legacy brand, has not compromised. I would like to ask one question to you for sure, that how do you feel, because to be leading such an iconic brand, what sort of feeling you get? How you feel when you are leading a brand like this?
I mean,
because not too many of us will ever get opportunity like this.
As I mentioned, it is not one person doing this job. So the pressure is not on one person for sure. It's everybody collectively working to do its bit. So right from a lady milk producer who gets up in the morning, and a society which collects the milk every day morning, which is processed by our dairy plants and sold in the market by our channel partners, to the consumer consumes milk. So it's everybody in this entire supply chain ecosystem is working with the same amount of passion as we all do in our jobs here. So this makes a big difference. All we need to do is to see that the values of the organization in the right place, the culture of the organization remains as it was. We don't deviate from any of these values, and we focus on building the culture. And that's what actually is the key job and key responsibility. I mean, the transactions are one part of this story. The brand and the turnover is another part of the story. But when you in the organization, you not just deal with milk, we also deal with people, we also deal with processes. And that's what actually having a right balance of all the things and sticking to the core is the most important challenge for all the leaders in this organization.
And as rightly said by you, when you say that Amul is all about trust, you all have been leading by example, because the way you have trusted your advertising agency also. Today, the brands have been talking about context being the queen and the content being the king. But Amul as a brand has been a contextual brand since ages. So I think that is also one very big learning that we have. Do we have any questions? I think there is one question here which says from Dr. Kishore. In the process of making Amul as a global brand, what challenges Amul's facing? So, sir, would you like to answer this?
It's a very interesting question for a simple reason that if the brand brand goes with the familiarity first, and the best route we took to go global was identify where the people of Indian origin are, the NRIs are, they know the brand, and we follow them, and you will build a market for this. So as a result of which, as I mentioned, we are available in more than 30 countries as far as the consumer products are concerned, in about a total 50 countries, including the commodities that we sell. So Amul butter, cheese, ghee, Shrikhand are available right all the way from Canada, Canada, USA to Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Middle East, and Southeast Asia, and so on. So the idea is that the brand doesn't go mainstream to begin with. It starts with the ethnic route, as we say, when people of Indian origin or people, NRIs that who consume the brand. And from that ethnic and NRI route, to gradually move into mainstream. So Middle East is one market in which we have got into the mainstream. Singapore perhaps is another market we have got into the mainstream. USA is another market we are on the verge of getting into mainstream with the increasing familiarity for Indian food, Indian products, and so on and so forth. But having said that, for the brand to be universally acceptable, you need products which are consumed by the consumers of that particular country. Or we need to identify products and opportunities which can grow. So my ghee cannot go global. While it can be distributed or made available, the ghee is not a part of everybody's food habit around the world. Okay. So this is where we need to identify that products like beverages are there, which are universally consumed. Products like ice cream is there, which is universally consumed. If we are able to play the protein game right, this is another product which is universally consumed. So a person sitting in Manhattan also will relate to protein milkshake, as we saw it now, to a person sitting in Sydney. So this is where we need to look on. So while the ghee, the paneer, the cheese, the Shrikhand, all help us in making the product available to a large number of countries around the world, we need to also identify certain products which are universally acceptable and gradually build on to each of these categories in the respective markets. Having said that, international business and marketing also costs a lot of money. So all these years, our thinking was that India is not only just the largest producer of milk in the world, it is also the largest consumer of milk in the world. And all the global dairy players are coming to Indian market and trying to build their market here. So if we deviate our attention from here to different parts of the world, and also which means taking away money from India and spending in different parts of the world, we may perhaps lose part of the Indian market, so which we cannot afford to do. So that's why our major efforts have been so far concentrated on the domestic Indian market. But having built category which is formidable here in different segments, we will necessarily have to move into this, because as milk production in India grows, the market also has to be created in different parts of the world, and that's what we do. And let me also tell you one thing over here, that we are now also a promoter of a new multi-state cooperative. I talked about organics. There is a similar multi-state cooperative which has been created for exports of the cooperative products around the world. So this new organization, in which we are one of the promoters, will do the job of promoting all cooperative products around the world. And this will give a big fillip to building up brand India and brand Amul also in the international markets. So this will be our calibrated approach to go global by identifying the niche markets, niche segments, niche products, and then eventually in markets we have experience of exporting, getting into the mainstream in a steady manner.
Sir, another question which we have is, who is the biggest competitor for Amul?
Actually, we compete with every single gwala in the country who supplies milk to household who buy it in loose form, and still more than half of the milk sold in India is in loose form, to the Nestle's and the Cadbury's and the Unilevers and the Coke, Pepsi's of the world. So per se, it is not easy to define who is the competitor, because everybody whom we deal with in the market across different product categories is our competitor. And this is where we also need to be alert and aware and be continuously on the toes, that who is a new player coming up and how he or she is handling the game. And believe me, we are not as much worried or about the big multinational names I just mentioned, because their strategies, their styles are predictable, and they go by a certain way in approaching the markets. What we are very careful and vigilant of is the competition in the local and the regional formats coming up. Because these are the players who will come and perhaps try to disrupt the local markets. And India looks like one country, but we are a sigma of so many small markets. And every state is a different market, every district is a different market, every single village has its different style of market and the consumer habits. So that is where we need to be very, very cautious and aware of. And that's what our teams are also very clear about, trying to understand the regional competition coming up, local competition coming up, and see that we are able to match them tactic by tactic.
So Jyoti, I hope this answers your question. Sir, we have another question which Mr. Vijay Sharma has asked. He is saying whether Amul plans more to support or help farmers in the coming years.
This is what I told about, that we have already started working. I mean, it's organic farmers or general farmers, both ways. The milk producers in general across the country. We collect milk from more than 14 different states of India. About 15 to 20% of the total milk we handle is being collected in different parts of the country and being sold in these local markets also. So like 36 lakh farmers that we have here, outside Gujarat, we have more than 10 lakh farmers who are a part of this system. Like we have 18,600 village cooperative societies in Gujarat, there are close to 14,000 village cooperative societies outside Gujarat. So the benefit of Amul model is being given to producers across the country. Once we are into this organic mission mode, we will work with organic certified farmers from every part of the country, and then have the system of processing the products, certifying the products, and marketing the products. So yes, the Amul model benefit will go to a very, very large number of people, both under the White Revolution 2, as I mentioned, and the Organic Revolution, which is also being done.
Sir, there is one more question, from, I think, Mr. Gupta. He has deleted his question now. Anyway, we'll go to this question by Rajesh. He is asking everyone, there has been wonderful brand extension into various category of product under Amul umbrella brand. Is Amul looking forward to build some other brand for different categories, or they will continue with the umbrella strategy?
It's a good point. For edible oils, we have a brand called Jayen Mehta. So that is where we are building up the edible oil portfolio. But otherwise also we start with sub-brands, and that sub-brands become a brand of their own. Like we started Dahi, it was Masti Dahi. And then after the Masti succeeded, we became Amul Masti Dahi. Cool, and then these beverages got under Cool and got into this Mithai Mate, and then Amul Mithai Mate. So each of the brand has to actually earn the parent's name and the credibility. But by and large, the focus here is on using the umbrella brand because to build brands also, it takes a lot of time and it is expensive. So here, if we are very sure of the processes and the raw material that we use and all that, it is not necessary to build another brand, but we can strengthen the current brand and build the portfolio around it.
So, sir, what kind of a structure you have? Because so many number of brands Amul keeps launching. So you would have a brand management team who monitors each brand.
Correct, you are right. So we have been, as I mentioned, the GCM was formed in 1973. From 1980 onwards, we started dedicated team and a structure for marketing. And ever since then, we have a number of brand managers who looked after every single brand product in the portfolio. They are responsible for entire 360-degree visibility, right? Production planning to ensuring the supply chain and across the country, getting the sales plan from across the branches, and supplying the products as per that requirement, monitoring the health of the brand, doing all the activities related to pricing, promotions, long-term planning, market share, looking at competition in a very big way. So this culture of brand management and the discipline of brand management has been followed at Amul for now more than 4 decades. And that's how each of the brand managers own the brand. They look after these products and nurture them to greater heights in coordination with all the sales teams, and work directly with the advertising agencies and interface with the customers.
Great.
So thank you very much, sir. I think it was a very, very insightful session because working on a legacy brand is far more difficult than launching a new brand, where you have to make sure that you carry forward the values of the brand. At the same time, make sure that the brand evolves and gets connected to the current happenings and the next generation. So thank you very much for sharing the knowledge. And over to Sanjay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We have Rahul also. Rahul, we can have the benefit of your wisdom and
Yes, Rahul.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. The man behind Utterly Butterly
Yes,
Delicious.
utterly, utterly delicious. Amul girl.
What can I say that Jayen was on? But you know, the one thing that I wanted to say very much is that the greatest aspect I think about handling advertising for Amul is that the Jayen Bhai and his team have always entrusted, I think, faith. Faith is a very, I suppose Jayen Bhai used the word trust. In that, brand building becomes, I think pleasurable is the correct word, because very often when one has an idea, it's not perhaps, let us say, shared equally with everybody. You know, it's not. And Jayen Bhai and his team have always felt that the advertising agency has to do its job. It's being hired to do a job. And from Dr. Kurian onwards, it's always been the feeling that let's not try and tell the agency what it has to do. And frankly, if it doesn't do what it has to do, it should be pulled up. You know, it's not that it's, but the lack of interference, I feel, allows us at Takuni Associates as well as FCB Ulka, the other advertising agency, to kind of go about our business of brand building. And the portfolios that both of us handle are quite interesting, because we handle cheese and beverages, and so the changing marketplace is interesting, because Amul is such a popular brand, being food and being beverage and being drink, that the millennial and the Gen Z generation are the people that we need to talk to immediately, because the older audiences, in any case, will buy us or not buy us. Nothing we can do about that. But it is this generation that we have to talk to, because we can lose them, not to other brands, but just lose them to God knows what. So how do you catch them early? Because the point is that you're trying to catch them early with your, especially in, let us say, in these healthy times. How do you convince a millennial to have butter? How do you ask him to eat cheese? How do you ask him to? So those become very interesting points, because our advertising for Amul products is tied into the generational needs. And today's generation are so difficult to catch, because their attention deficit, they are multitasking, there's fear of missing out, they're moving to, I mean, they move so quickly, there's no question. How do you catch them and hold them? Because my generation and the older generation, once we stuck, There was nothing that you couldn't change us. But the kids of today, they will move so fast, because you've got to catch them with product, positioning, placement, all the P's that we've always learned over the years. And most important, they have a point of view. So, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jayen Bhai, for such an enriching and motivating session, which you always have. And one thing in Brand Club, and me personally feel very, I always feel richer when you always accept our invitation, and you're always
Yes.
yeah. That is what one thing which always motivates me. And as Vibhuti was telling, na, ki ek baar aisa lagne laga ki we should stop it. But when we get a motivation from speakers and from stalwarts like you, we keep moving on, right? Thank you very much, Jayen Bhai, for
But the thing is, Sanjay, I just wanted to say one thing which is important.
Yeah.
Is that the last time I was here listening to Jayen Bhai speak,
yeah,
he was not the MD, and I mean, it's just an incredible, I don't know how to explain this in any other way, but Jayen Bhai is the MD of Amul. It's an incredible, I mean,
Yes.
this is such a difficult job. It's not easy, and Jayen Bhai is a deeply humble man, and I'm saying it to his face.
Very down to earth. Yeah.
But to be handling an Amul, you asked the question earlier, but how does it feel to be handling Amul? How does it feel to be the MD of Amul? It's
Very true.
the whole
You're
handling Amul is-
leading a brand like Amul.
because handling
Top
Amul,
of the world.
even I'm handling Amul. That's not the point. The point is to be
Leading.
Yeah, it's an impossibility.
And you know, that's why I was telling you, we feel fortunate that being there and still dedicating time for us is
Yes.
we always feel richer.
Sanjay, that too on a Sunday.
Also Sunday.
True, true.
Thank you so much, Jayen bhai. Thank you, Rahul bhai, for being here, and
Always.
also Vibhuti being here, and thank you very much.
Thank you. My privilege.
And we look forward to have you again whenever you feel convenient.
Sanjay, I think we should record this statement of Rahul where he said that, when the clients don't interfere, agency do a better work and circulate to all clients. Please do that.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you, audience.
Thank you. Have a
Thank you.
pleasant day. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.